Hello to all the parents who are full of love for their children. We have to admit that loving our children is one of the toughest things in life. Loving them for the sake of love itself, not just to gain something, not just to satisfy our emotional needs. That part is easy. Most people can do that. But how do we make sure the love we give them helps them grow up happy, supported, and full of care? That's the tough part. The reality is that we are still far from perfect. We're dealing with our own weaknesses, difficulties, and emotional baggage. We all have those moments of frustration, impatience, and sensitivity. We have moments when we get caught up in our own limitations, like our quick temper or prejudice, and we get stuck in narrow viewpoints. It's not easy to keep ourselves calm and steady, especially when life throws so many challenges our way. We also have to face the fact that many of us still carry deep wounds inside, past trauma from relationships, family struggles, or personal experiences. Some of us may have faced neglect or been treated unfairly in the past, and those experiences leave scars that we carry with us. We can admit that we're victims of the generation before us, inheriting not only good values but also their struggles and limitations. And as we continue in their footsteps, we unknowingly pass on those negative energies to those around us, especially our children. We must also acknowledge that we have not yet created an ideal environment for our children. With the pressures of life, we are often too busy, stressed, and exhausted to provide the right kind of support and nurturing at home. Our children are constantly exposed to external influences, negative energies that can be damaging. If we're not careful, we could be allowing these toxic influences into their lives. The truth is, we've never been properly trained to be parents. We're not professional educators or coaches. We're just acting on instinct, trying to do what we think is best, using the lessons we've learned from the previous generation or from what we observe around us. Some of us try to read parenting books, hoping to understand our children better, but in reality, we still don't fully understand what goes on in their hearts and minds. This is especially true in today's world, where things are changing so quickly. And while we may try, we can admit that sometimes our lack of understanding leads us to unintentionally hurt our children. Our expectations, our rules, our reactions, sometimes they do more harm than good. There are times when the relationship between us and our children feels strained, and it seems like they're pulling away. We might think that they love us, but they also get frustrated with us. They love us, but they don't want to be close because they don't feel fully supported by us. That's when we need to be honest with ourselves and with them. We need to have heart-to-heart conversations where we openly acknowledge our own shortcomings and limitations. It's important to let our children see that we're not perfect, that we're still learning and growing. We should show them that even though we may struggle with our own burdens, we still want to help them understand the difficulties we face as parents. By doing this, we create space for our children to empathize with us, and hopefully, they won't hold it against. In turn, this allows us to present a more complete picture of who we are as parents, one that's full of love, but also full of human flaws. At the same time, we need to encourage our children to focus on the positive aspects of our relationship, the values we've passed down to them. The flaws, the weaknesses, they're a part of us, but they're not all that we are. And if they can see the good, they will also help us grow and improve, that just as we are there to help them become the best versions of themselves. We also need to remember that parenting is not a one-way street. It's not just about us giving to our children. It's about mutual respect and understanding. When we stop thinking of ourselves as the authority figures who always need to control and start seeing ourselves as partners with our children, everything changes. We need to remember that our children are not our property. They are their own people, and they have their own strengths, talents, and potential. We are there to guide them, but we must also respect their autonomy and their journey. So what can we do to make this work? How can we become the kind of parents who nurture and support our children without imposing our limitations on them? The first step is to let go of the need to be perfect. We don't need to have all the answers, and we certainly don't need to always be in control. It's okay to show vulnerability, to ask for help, and to be open with our children about the struggles we face. And once we understand that, we can start to foster an environment where both we and our children can grow together. An environment based on love, mutual respect, and understanding. This is the path to building strong, healthy relationships that will last a lifetime. We also have to acknowledge that as parents, we don't always get everything right. There are moments when we react impulsively, when we let our emotions get the best of us. And in those moments, we might end up saying or doing things that unintentionally hurt our children. But here's the thing, that doesn't make us bad parents. It makes us human. And it's okay to admit when we've made a mistake. What's most important is how we handle these moments after they happen. When we slip up, we need to take responsibility for our actions. We need to be able to apologize to our children, not just in words, but through our actions. Apologizing isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It shows our children that it's okay to make mistakes, but it's also important to take ownership of them and strive to do better. If we can model this behavior, being accountable for our mistakes and showing our children that change is possible, then we're teaching them a valuable life lesson. They'll learn that it's not about being perfect, but about trying, falling down, and getting back up. And most importantly, they'll learn that love is not about being flawless, but about being willing to grow together. There's also the need for us to take care of ourselves. As parents, we often get so caught up in the responsibilities of raising children that we forget to nurture ourselves. We may sacrifice our own needs, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental, for the sake of our children. But here's the reality, you can't pour from an empty cup. If we want to be the best parents we can be, we need to take time to refill our own cups. This means finding time for self-care, for relaxation, for doing things that bring us joy and peace. Taking care of ourselves doesn't mean we love our children any less. In fact, it means we're better equipped to love them fully when we take care of our own well-being. It's a simple but powerful concept. When we prioritize our own health, both physical and emotional, we have more energy, more patience, and more love to give. But self-care doesn't only mean taking time for ourselves. It also means creating a healthy, nurturing environment at home. We need to ensure that the space we create for our children is one where they feel safe, loved, and supported. This isn't just about providing for their basic needs. It's about creating a space where they can thrive, where they feel encouraged to be themselves, to explore, and to make mistakes. As we take a closer look at the environment we've created for our children, we should ask ourselves, are we truly creating a space where they can grow and develop without unnecessary pressures? Are we giving them the tools they need to become emotionally resilient and self-sufficient individuals? Are we allowing them to express themselves freely without fear of judgment? This is something we need to think about, because the environment we provide has a significant impact on how our children develop emotionally and mentally. If we are constantly stressed, overwhelmed, and unbalanced, our children will pick up on those energies. They will feel the tension, and it could affect their emotional health. On the other hand, if we provide a calm, loving, and supportive environment, they will feel more secure and confident in themselves. But creating this environment requires effort. It's not always easy, especially when we are dealing with the pressures of work, relationships, and life in general. But the good news is, we don't have to do it alone. We can reach out for support. Whether it's from our partners, our families, or even professional help, There's no shame in asking for assistance. In fact, seeking help when we need it is a sign of strength, not weakness. And we also have to realize that our children are not the only ones who need nurturing. We need to nurture our relationships as well. The bond between parents and children is incredibly important, but so is the relationship between the parents themselves. A strong partnership between parents provides a stable foundation for the family. When both parents support each other, work together, and communicate effectively, it sets a positive example for the children. Sometimes, it's easy to forget that we are more than just parents. We are individuals with our own needs, dreams, and desires. And while it's important to put our children first, we mustn't neglect our own happiness. This balance is key. If we are happy, fulfilled, and connected with our partners, we are better able to give our children the love and support they need. But how do we maintain that balance? How do we make time for ourselves, for our relationships, and for our children? The answer is simple: by being intentional. We need to make time for the things that matter, whether it's scheduling regular date nights with our partners, carving out moments of solitude for ourselves, or making sure we spend quality time with our children. When we are intentional about these things, we create a sense of harmony and balance in our lives. It's also important to remember that no one is perfect. We will make mistakes along the way, and that's okay. What matters is how we respond. We need to be gentle with ourselves, just as we are gentle with our children. Parenting is a journey, not a destination. It's a continuous process of learning, growing, and improving. And as we go through this journey, we need to remember that it's okay to ask for help. Whether it's from family, friends, or professionals, there is no shame in seeking support. In fact, it's a sign of strength. It shows that we care about our well-being and that of our children. The most important thing is that we are doing our best. We are trying to create a loving, supportive environment for our children, and we are learning and growing along the way. And in the end, that's all that matters. Now, as we continue on this journey of parenthood, it's important to recognize the incredible potential within each of our children. They may be small, but they are full of potential. Every child carries with them a unique spark, a special gift that they bring into the world. As parents, it's our job not only to protect them, but to help them discover and nurture that potential. We must start by recognizing that our children are not extensions of ourselves. They are their own people, with their own dreams, desires, and talents. Our role is to guide them, to help them explore the world around them, and to provide them with the tools they need to succeed. But we should never forget that they are not our possessions. They are not here to live out our dreams or fulfill our unmet needs. They are here to create their own path, and we should support them in doing that. When we start to see our children as individuals, each with their own potential, their own challenges, and their own future, we can shift our approach as parents. Instead of seeing them through a lens of what we want them to be, we can focus on who they are becoming. And this shift is crucial because it frees us from the pressure of trying to control every aspect of their lives. It allows us to step back and let them make their own choices, make their own mistakes, and learn from those experiences. But letting go of control is not easy. It's natural for parents to want to protect their children from harm, to guide them toward what we believe is best. And of course, we should always be there to offer guidance when needed. But we must also trust in their ability to navigate the world and learn on their own. This is where we begin to see them as equals, equal in worth, equal in potential. This doesn't mean we stop guiding them or that we step out of the picture entirely. It simply means that we become more like mentors or partners in their journey, rather than authoritarian figures trying to dictate every move. We listen more, we encourage them to think critically, and we allow them to make decisions, small ones at first, but eventually bigger ones as they grow. We also need to remember that our children's experiences are different from ours. The world they are growing up in is different, with new challenges, new opportunities, and new pressures. What worked for us as children may not necessarily work for them. And while we can offer our wisdom and advice, we must also be open to learning from them. They may see the world in ways that we never considered, and they may have insights that we can benefit from. This is where the relationship between parent and child becomes a two-way street. It's no longer just about us teaching them. It's about us learning from them as well. We may not have all the answers, and that's okay. What matters is that we're willing to listen, to learn, and to grow alongside them. As parents, we also need to be aware of the pressures that come with raising children in today's world. The societal pressures, the expectations, and the demands of modern life can be overwhelming. Sometimes, it feels like there's no time to just be with our children, to connect with them on a deeper level. But in the midst of all these distractions, we need to find the time to just be present with our kids. Whether it's through conversations, shared activities, or simply being in the same room together, these moments of connection are what will strengthen our bond. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life, work, school, extracurricular activities, but we must always remember that the most important thing we can give our children is our time. Not just our time, but our undivided attention. When we spend time with them, we should be truly present, listening, engaging, and sharing experiences. This is how we build trust, respect, and understanding. And let's not forget that parenting is not just about the serious moments. It's also about having fun, being silly, and enjoying the small moments together. Life doesn't always have to be serious and full of rules. Sometimes, the best moments come when we let go of our expectations and simply enjoy the joy of being with our children. Whether it's playing a game, dancing around the living room, or having a spontaneous adventure, these are the moments that create memories and build strong, loving relationships. But there will be challenges along the way. There will be moments when things don't go as planned, when our children make mistakes, and when we feel overwhelmed. In these moments, it's important to remember that we are not alone. We can lean on each other, on our partners, on our families, and on our communities. Parenting takes a village, and it's okay to ask for help when we need it. We also need to acknowledge that mistakes are part of the process. We will make them, and so will our children. The key is not to dwell on the mistakes, but to learn from them. When we make mistakes, we need to show our children how to take responsibility, apologize, and make things right. This teaches them the importance of accountability and the value of humility. And as our children grow, we need to continue evolving as parents. We need to adapt to their changing needs, their changing personalities, and the new challenges that come with each stage of their lives. Parenting is not static. It's a dynamic, ongoing process that requires constant learning, adjusting, and growing. As they evolve, so must we. In the end, the most important thing we can do for our children is to love them unconditionally, support them through their struggles, and provide them with the space to become who they are meant to be. We may not always get it right, but if we approach parenting with love, patience, and understanding, we will have done our best. And that's all we can ask for. Thank you for listening, and remember, parenthood is a journey of growth for both parents and children. Let's keep learning, loving, and growing together.